We've talked in the past about the journey, right? Appreciating the journey, getting through the journey, learning through the journey. When adversity came, I could have fell apart, but I chose instead to follow my heart. When adversity comes, I will never run, I will adjust, adapt, and overcome. Vision. Hello everyone, welcome one, welcome all, welcome back to your one-stop shop for everything mindset, fitness, health, authenticity, you just being you. Welcome to Not Only I Am Vision of Hope, but you know what it is. We are Vision of Hope. And this is your one-stop shop for everything empowerment. And if you're into empowerment, hit that like and hit that subscribe button. But now let's jump right into the topic today. How to start setting the tone in your life and beyond. But let's talk about this word tone, right? Setting the tone. What does that mean? Well, when we talk about setting the tone, we're talking about setting the standard, putting things in motion, what you want to represent on a daily basis, but not only to how you represent yourself to others, but how you want to represent yourself to yourself. All right? Setting that standard in a strong way, having that mentality to assist you in moving forward. But the question is, what does setting the tone actually mean to you? Well, let's talk about some concepts to get started, and let's talk about some concepts to figure out what this means for you to go ahead and set the tone in the way that feels fit. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is goal setting, right? We all have different goals that we're trying to achieve, but when we're setting the tone, we're setting the tone for what? For why? For a purpose, okay? The purpose is, well, we're going to talk about that. So the goals, okay? The goals that you want to achieve, and we have to create a set of goals that work with your mentality, that work with your tone, okay? We're setting a strong tone, but first we're trying to understand why we're setting this tone. Well, it's for the goals that we want to achieve. So the next thing on the list is talking about how we're going to achieve those goals. Well, we have to set expectations, right? We've talked about this in a previous video, the differences between goals and expectations. A lot of times the reasons why we don't achieve our goals is because we don't set the proper expectations for ourselves to get to the goals that we want to achieve. So, setting those expectations in a way that works with your goals, that helps you set the tone for your life and beyond, okay? We're trying to promote consistency here. So, we want to set high expectations so we consistently knock out our goals to continue moving forward, right? And so now we're starting to paint the picture a little bit about what it looks like to set the tone, to set the mentality for what these different things look like. Expectations and goals being the first two things that we're thinking about, okay? But now we're starting to transition, and when we start to transition in terms of this conversation, we're trying to understand ourselves better, right? Because what works for you and the person next to you, because like I've said in the past, there's no reason why you'd be watching this by yourself. Don't be stingy. But anyways, all right? So what we're trying to do, what might work for you will not work for somebody else. So with that being said, when I was first creating this list, I was going to talk about planning it out. Planning out what it looks like to have those good high expectations, or the expectations that work for you to achieve the goals that you want. But I'm going to kind of switch that up a little bit, because based upon the situation, this might look a little bit different. So I'm going to ask you a question. You're going to ask yourself this question. So the question is, to plan or not to plan, right? Now that sounds weird, because we've been told in society from external variables and other people around us in society that we have to plan out everything, right? That everything has to be specifically in order, but that might not work for you. That might be what you need, and so then you're on the part of people who need to plan, and that's great. And then there might be a set of people who don't need to plan, and then you have the people like me who sometimes need to plan and sometimes don't, because it's part of my personality in some situations to work off the cuff, and then other situations where I'm like, we create the blueprint. I'm a whole architect at that point, okay? We got to get everything right, okay? And so there are different situations depending on the event or what have you, where I might plan or I might go off the cuff, and it depends on what might work for me at a particular moment. So we're planning or not planning for specific expectations or goals. That's a question for yourself to figure out what's going to work for you, because we're all individuals, right? And then we have our expectations and we have our goals, and we're just knocking out goals at this point. That because we're setting the tone. We're there, okay? But when we talk about there, and we're talking about destinations, we've talked in the past about the journey, right? Appreciating the journey, getting through the journey, learning through the journey, right? But throughout the journey, we're reflecting on the goals, reflecting on why we want those goals, and then as we reflect on those things and think about the expectations that we're setting for ourselves to consistently knock out every day, the last concept we're going to talk about is mentally visualizing the destination, okay? Mentally visualizing the success. Now, this is important because there's a reason why you created that goal a few minutes ago. All right. I know that you took that goal and you were like, okay, how am I going to achieve that goal? I'm going to make the We Are Vision of Hope community stand by what it said a few minutes ago. And I'm going to put that goal in the comment section. All right. And now, not only that, now I can mentally visualize the success I'm going to have after talking about this, and now put that in the comment section. And while I'm down there, I really appreciate the information. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hit the like button. But anyways, so what's going to happen here is we're mentally visualizing the success, right? Because you have to believe that you can achieve the success. You have to believe that you're going to achieve these accomplishments, right? And visualizing the success. Now, Tariq, I've never succeeded this before. Okay, I've never hit that accomplishment before. I've never accomplished that goal before, and I don't know what these expectations look like. Okay, all right, all great questions, but for sake of this video, for sake of this topic, for setting the tone, mentally visualize not only the success, and if you're having struggles with that, mentally think about the feelings that you want to have on a consistent basis. Mentally visualize the destination of that success, that feeling that you're trying to surround yourself with. Those are some of the keys that will assist you and continue to move forward when the journey is getting difficult. Those are some of the keys that will help you mentally get through some of those difficult situations. So let's recap and bring it all back together. We're goal setting, right? Second, we're setting expectations to make sure we can achieve those goals. Third, we're planning or not planning, depending on the expectation, depending on the goal, right? What worked for you in those particular situations, okay? Sometimes you're going to plan, sometimes you're not, because your personality and the way you carry yourself will automatically lend itself to that success. And then finally, mentally visualizing the feeling you're going to have when you're successful and or what the success actually looks like. So if you can start to blend all four of those concepts, then you will lend yourself to consistently acting and presenting yourself in a way that you're consistently happy with, as well as just connecting with who you are as a person and continue to set the tone every day and beyond to continue to set those expectations and knock out those goals. Everyone, thank you so much for watching. This has been great. Not only I am Vision of Hope, but we are Vision of Hope. And here we're talking about everything empowerment. And today we talk about how to set the tone. Check out some more videos, everybody. Until next time. When adversity came, I could have fell apart, but I chose instead to follow my heart. When adversity comes, I will never run. I will adjust, adapt, and overcome. vision.